The following program is paid for by Main Street Living.
Hi, I'm Pastor Matthew Harrison, President of the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. Starting in the late 1950s, Lutheran Hour Ministries aired a television program called This is the Life in their efforts to bring Christ to the nations. It was a critically acclaimed show that used story and drama to convey eternal truths from God's Word. And it featured actors who were just getting started in their careers. Recently, Lutheran Hour Ministries, in partnership with Main Street Living, remastered and brought to HD quality about 50 of these programs. You may notice some young actors who've become very famous. And even though the props and styles are of the 1960s and 70s, the subject matter is still very relevant. So please sit back and enjoy this week's episode of This is the Life.
With this thing in here, it doesn't even look like a factory anymore. A pinball arcade maybe, but not a factory.
Beautiful. How much did you say it would increase production?
Considerably, but not only production. It improves the quality of the products, cuts down on waste, and runs almost around the clock.
What if it makes a mistake?
Yeah, who takes the rap?
90% of the time, mistakes are the fault of the operator, not the
If
equipment.
the equipment makes a mistake, it corrects itself immediately, automatically.
Don't worry, Norton. Anybody can be trained to run it. You two guys are lucky. You had seniority. Now all you have to do is push a couple of buttons and you take home a satchel full of extra dough every week.
Anybody can be trained to run it.
Yeah, it makes you feel like a trained chimp. Press the right button and you get a banana.
I feel like I just sold the last bit of dignity I got for that satchel full of extra
Well,
dough.
I guess a satchel full of money is what a man's soul goes for in today's market. You know, if you take into account the years we put in learning our trade.
You know the trouble with you and me?
Yeah, we're not machines.
We're too old for changes. Changes, that's what gets you. Anything goes as long as it steps up production.
They call it progress.
You two guys still at it?
Who asked you?
Hold it, Shorty. What do you mean, are we still at it?
You two been griping about that machine for over a week. You don't know how lucky you are. Last day at the old grind. Next week you start your new job for Mr. Galbraith. Why don't you look on the bright side?
How long does he figure it'll take to teach us?
A few weeks. You can do it quicker if you cooperate.
How long would it take a chimpanzee? If he cooperated.
What are you talking about?
Forget it, Shorty. How many men is that thing going to replace?
11, but they'll be transferred to new jobs as they open up.
Well, that puts Shorty and me back where we were over 20 years ago.
Yeah, we were the whole department then, too. Only now you don't even see the things you're making.
How long you been around here, Hogan?
8 years.
8 years. Well, you don't know what it used to be like here. We can remember when there were 20 or 30 people in the whole plant. Now, it was nice to work here. Then you could see the things you were making. Why, Shorty and me, we used to design our own tools even. You remember that, Shorty?
Sure.
Huh?
Yeah, well, I'm sorry I haven't got time to talk about it now. Some other time. And on Monday, no more coveralls. Just wear something comfortable.
That Hogan, he gets me.
Oh, he's just trying to do his job. Hey, what are you going to do for the weekend?
Me? I've got a feeling I'm going to stay home and hang one on.
Oh, what good is that going to do?
Got a better answer?
Well, now, I work it off at home. I go down in the workshop. I make stuff for the house.
Yeah, is that better than getting drunk?
Well, always has been.
Oh, it's the hands, John. If a man had a good pair of hands, it meant something. Well, so long. I got to catch my ride.
Yeah, and Shorty, you take it easy. You know what I mean?
Oh, sure. I can handle it now. Well, see you Monday.
So long.
Believe it and conceive it. Make your mind. You're my only inspiration in this worldwide population. Wonderful, adorable, divine. Well, Shorty Norton, at least this is one thing your hands are still good for.
Oh, time for church already?
Look after the pot roast, will you, dear?
Yes, sure.
Been awful quiet this morning. Not much noise from down here.
I've just been thinking.
You've made so many things for me. Why don't you make something just for yourself?
Like what?
John, what's bothering you?
Oh, Bea, will you stop asking me that, please?
I'm sorry, I won't.
Well, you better run along. You'll be late.
John, Pastor Martin's been asking about
Some
you a
other
lot.
time.
I'll be home in time to fix lunch.
All right.
Mr. Norton, summing up, I'd say that you simply got to regard this equipment as merely an extension of your own skills. Now, it's all in here, stored up in the memory bank, waiting for your programming directives. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I know. It's all loaded, ready to be fired as soon as we pull the trigger.
Now, don't fight me, Mr. Norton. It helps in dealing with this equipment to speak its language. It's programmed, not loaded. Let's pick it up after lunch.
By golly, he's right. It is lunchtime. Galbraith, I think you're programmed. You coming, John?
No, you go ahead, Shorty. Something I'd like to clear up with Mr. Galbraith.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Galbraith, you're going to have to excuse Shorty.
Oh, I know. He feels that this is the end of the road for him, doesn't it? Well, it doesn't have to be.
I'm not so sure. 5 years ago, when his wife died, he had quite a battle with the booze. Since then, the only thing that's kept him going is a little bit of pride and interest in the work he can do with his hands. Now, it doesn't take a mechanical brain to show me what could happen.
I understand. Thank you, Mr. Garber.
See you later.
How's it going, Mr. Galbraith? Are they still giving you a hard time?
Well, this is a big change for them. They haven't adjusted to it yet. I can understand the reaction. Can't you?
Well, what have they got to complain about? They never had it so good.
You know, you and I both know that automation's a good thing. We know that it's going to mean more jobs for more people, raise the standard of living for everyone. Now, that's fine. But it also causes changes for a worker, drastic changes that require time for a man to adjust to.
Adjust. Those two, don't let them fool you. They just want something to gripe about.
Let's get something straight. I'm responsible to my company and to the management of this plant to make sure that this equipment is properly used. But you're the supervisor here.
Well, what are you driving at?
Those men are fine workers with excellent records. If they don't accept this equipment, adjust to it, that, Mr. Hogan, is your responsibility.
Galbraith isn't so bad.
No, it's just that lousy machine of his. It may be programmed, but I'd rather be loaded.
Shorty, maybe it's none of my business, but coming into work the way
I
you did
just
this morning...
had a couple so I could face that thing in there. Gee. You know, I was thinking yesterday about... Remember what you said about us selling the last little bit of human dignity we had?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Well, it's true, John. It's true. You know, every time I punch this thing, I expect it to toss me a banana. Oh, no, but kidding aside, that machine in there makes a man feel pretty useless. Oh. Time to go to work, Shorty Norton. Well, thank you, Mr. Hogan. Mr. Galbraith, I won't be there today. I just hurt my button pushing finger. Don't worry, honey, I won't let you down. There's my medicine, my button-pushing medicine.
It should happen. Let you and I get married.
Mr. Hogan,
Life
Mr.
was gonna
Galbraith?
finish Anyway, as soon as I got up enough nerve.
cheer.
We love each other, so why wait? I could.
John, are you sure coffee's enough? You
Just
usually...
coffee, just coffee.
Not like you to be late.
Well, I've got lots of time now. Bee, don't rush me. I don't feel like being rushed this morning.
John, frankly, you've been a bit hard to live with these last few weeks. Now, if there's anything I've said or done...
Bee, honey, I'm sorry. You see, honey, I just didn't see any reason to burden you with my troubles. It's that new machine down at the plant.
Machine? How can a machine make you so depressed all the time?
Why? Because it can do everything it took me a lifetime to learn, and it can do it better. Bee, you know my work has been my whole life.
I know, and maybe that's been your mistake.
Maybe. But it just so happens that is the way I am put together.
Good morning, Mr. Garber. How's it coming?
It's coming.
Where's your partner?
Why don't you ask the mechanical brain here where he is?
Where are you going?
Sharpen a pencil. It's one thing the machine can't do. Matter of fact, I think I'll sharpen a bunch of them.
I saw that, Mr. Galbraith. What's he trying to pull now?
Pull? Oh, he's gone to sharpen a pencil. A bunch of them. Mr. Hogan, I thought we had an understanding that you were going to try to help these men to get adjusted.
Oh, now, look, I'm a busy man. I got better things to do than coddle a couple of old coots that want to make trouble.
Better things? More important than increasing the productivity of your department?
Well, I didn't mean that.
Mr. Hogan, I suggest that you place helping Garber and Norton at the very top of your list. And one thing more. Try to think of them as fellow human beings. You'll be surprised how much that helps. Now, talk to him. Try to see it from his point of view.
Hey, John, what is it with you and Shorty?
What do you mean, what is it?
Giving Galbraith a bad time. Now, you gotta take it easy on him. He's a very important guy. Now, I'm only warning you for your own good, you understand?
I'm touched. Next, you'll be telling us you can't possibly run this machine without us.
Garber, I'm telling you for your own good. Now, you gotta snap out of it. And Norton, he's gotta get off the blues and come into work, or he's
Don't suppose it matters to you that that little guy is almost killing himself over this
Look,
thing.
what Shorty does outside the plant is no concern of mine. Like you said, it only takes one guy to run this thing, so who needs Norton? Or you too, for that
Now,
matter.
look,
What do you think of
Hogan,
that?
in all my years in this company, nobody has ever talked to me like that. A man's years of service don't mean very much to you, do they?
What do you think you're doing?
In 10 years, I have never taken one day of sick leave. Well, I'm taking it now. I'm sick.
Now, look, John. Wait, John, I didn't mean it the way it sounded. So let's cool down, huh? I mean, what are you trying to do to me? Galbraith is holding me responsible for you two guys. All right, have it your own way, but the front office is going to hear about it. You hear me? Mr. Galbraith, he's walking off.
So I see. Is this how you always help your men when they have problems?
I don't understand it. I never had any trouble with those guys before.
Of course not. Those two men are craftsmen, highly skilled craftsmen. Yet you're treating them like a couple of juvenile delinquents who are out to sabotage your department. Well, Mr. Hogan, what are you going to do about it?
Do? What can I do?
I repeat, treat them like human beings.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy.
John, please sit down. You're actually
I
trembling.
never did anything like that before. I don't know what got into me.
Let me make you some coffee.
I got so riled up I couldn't see straight. I couldn't think of what I was doing.
Surely Hogan won't fire you over this.
Bee, at that plant, a feeling came over me. A feeling like, well, as if nothing mattered anymore.
Where are you going?
Downstairs. Maybe I can think things out. Bee! Come down here, quick!
John, what is it?
Bee, I cut my hand now. Don't panic. Just get something to wrap around my arm. Hurry.
Can you make it to the kitchen? I've got
Clean
some
rags
towels.
under the edge. Right on the end. That's good. Tie it around my arm. Up above the muscle. High. That's it. That's good. Now take a piece of that dowling and push it through there. That's good enough, honey. Now twist. Twist. Tighter. Tighter. All right. There.
Let me see.
No, you can see it at the hospital.
Is it that bad?
It's bad enough. Come on, let's go.
Hello.
Oh, Shorty, this is Hogan.
Oh, Mr. Hogan. To what do I owe this honor?
Well, I just called to see how you're getting along.
What got into you?
I was wondering when you were going to be coming back to work.
Come back to work? Not for a while, Mr. Hogan, but thanks very much for the invitation.
Now listen, Shorty, I know you have certain feelings about the machine, and I'm trying to be patient about it so you guys can get used to the idea. But Galbraith...
So it's Galbraith, huh? Well, I'm sorry, Hogan. I'm not taking you off the hook with Galbraith. You just hang there for a while. Maybe it'll do you a lot of good. And hey, I just thought of something. Why don't you go down to the zoo and hire a couple of chimpanzees?
Now, wait a minute, Shorty. Look, I need your help. John had an accident. He cut his hand, bad.
I know he cut his hand. Let me tell you something, Hogan. For all the years that John and I worked together, he never even nicked a little fingernail. See what that blasted machine has done?
John?
Oh, Europe? Oh, I just came down for a glass of milk. All right, so I couldn't sleep.
Your hand.
No, it's all right. B. I've got to talk this out.
John, what is it?
B. When I cut my hand, now I've been thinking about that.
Go on.
That was not an accident. Not exactly.
I don't understand what you mean. Not exactly.
B, it was like life was trying to put me into a box and trying to nail the lid down on me, and I had to do something. I had to take some kind of action against it. That's when I cut the hand.
You mean you wanted it to happen?
No, not that I was aware of, but since then I've caught myself thinking, suppose I had cut the whole hand off instead of just chewing it out. No, another inch or two, and that could have been the wrist.
Please.
B, I must get this off my chest. Now, lately, I've been feeling that nothing matters anymore.
John, you mustn't feel that way.
But, B, I have come to realize something. I don't know what I'm living for. What my life means anymore.
Oh, John. Oh, John.
A lot of people are asking that question, John. Especially people in your situation.
I keep asking myself, if a machine is more important than me, if it can turn out more and better work than I ever could, then what am I here for? What am I living for?
For the same reason you were here before this machine was invented.
I don't get you, Pastor.
What does a Christian live for, John?
Well, I guess I never really asked myself that question. I have always lived for my work. Now, that's gone.
Well, you're not the only one to make that mistake. Our work is only a part of God's purpose for our lives, even though it's an important part.
Sometimes I wonder if there really is anything else.
God put us here on earth, not only to make a living, but also to make a life. Now, I know that sounds as if I might have taken it from a sermon, but it's true. God put you and me here on this earth to accomplish a part of his grand purpose for the world, even though it may be only a small part. That's why he made us in the first place. Above all, that's why he redeemed us through Jesus Christ, his Son, so that we may become his very own and serve his purpose.
Pastor, I don't understand what you're driving at.
Okay. Let's look at it another way. Now, you say you can't see any purpose in your life.
That's right.
You do believe the Lord made you, and as a Christian, you do believe he saved you.
Yes.
The Lord didn't make you and save you without a purpose. He made you and saved you to serve him and to serve your fellow man. Now, look around you and think a moment. Isn't there anything you can think of doing that would be serving him and your fellow man? You don't have to be a missionary and go to the other end of the world to serve your fellow man and to serve your Lord. You can do that right where you are, and I mean right at the plant. The main thing, John, is to remember whatever you're doing it for him. He's given you your purpose.
Hello.
Oh, B?
Hello, Shorty.
Is John there?
No, he went out for a little while.
Oh. Well, do you know where he went?
No, he said he was going out to see someone. He'd be back fairly shortly. Is it anything urgent?
No. It's not important.
Shorty, I don't like the way you sound. You're not ill, are you?
No, I'm okay.
Are you sure?
Sure, I'm sure. Thanks, B. Bye. Oh.
How are you, Shorty?
Well, anyway, I'm glad you got me when you did, John. It was getting to be pretty bad.
I'm sorry it took as long as I did, but I guess I was so busy feeling sorry for myself, feeling that nobody needed me, that I'd stopped hearing other people. But you know, it was something the pastor said that really snapped me back to my senses, and it was a very simple thing, too. He said that earning a living was only part of the work that God had given us, that another part was reaching out a hand to others.
Oh, wait a minute. What did Galbraith say about this machine and us?
About this being just an extension of our own skills?
Yeah, that gives us a longer reach to others.
Oh, Shorty, sometimes you're pretty bright.
Yeah? Bright enough to know this. No blasted chimp's gonna learn to run this machine. Well, at least no better than me.
This program has been brought to you by the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, with congregations throughout the United States and Canada, and is dedicated to the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of God and Savior of the world.
I hope you found this program to be both entertaining and insightful. Even though the show was filmed decades ago, the concerns of those days seem to parallel many situations of today. We'll be back next week with another episode of This is the Life. In the meantime, I invite you to seek further wisdom from God's Word, the Bible, and I invite you to visit one of our congregations in your area. We are the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod, and you will find our 6,000 congregations listed at www.lcms.org. This program has been brought to you by Main Street Living, which relies on the generosity of viewers to support this programming. They appreciate your prayers and would also appreciate your financial support. You can view additional episodes of This is the Life on the Main Street Living website. Thanks for watching, and join us again next week, same time, same channel, for another episode of This is the Life.